Hello students. So we are back with our lesson on immunity. Already we have studied that immunity is of two types. The active one is active immunity and the second one is the passive immunity. So, now let us differentiate, try to find out the differences between active and passive immunity. As we have studied, active functioning of the person's own immune system is what is called active immunity. Here individual's own system functions, and due to this response of individual's own system, immune system, it leads to synthesis of antibodies. So antibodies are synthesized because of a person's own immune system is responding. Now this immunity is of two types further. One is natural and second is artificial. Now, natural immunity is one which develops in a person who has recovered from an attack of a disease. So, this natural immunity develops in a person who has was in an attack recently and who has recovered from an attack of a disease, from an attack of a disease. A very common example, if you see, is for example smallpox. So here the person has developed a disease. Now let us say here is this the person who was lying because of some illness. Uh, this was a sick person. Now this person during his illness only he has developed, his immune system has developed antibodies, and these antibodies they are subsequently going to save this person from the future illness. So this is called natural uh, active immunity. But let us say this person was not ill. He was never ill. This fellow. Let's take this fellow to artificial mechanism here. This person was never ill. But before ailment, rather, we are not waiting for the ailment. But the person was administered with a vaccine. So due to vaccine, this fellow has developed certain antibodies. So this is the resistance induced by vaccines. So we vaccinate this person, and now because of this vaccination, he is going to develop antibodies in the system. So antibodies in the system here, and subsequently when a pathogen attacks, you find that he will not fall ill because artificially we have induced antibodies in him, a vaccine in him, and then subsequently the antibodies have been uh, synthesized. So he is safe. Then comes the second type, which is the passive immunity. Now, what is this passive immunity? It develops in a recipient who receives immune products like antibodies in a ready-made form. Remember, in this case, we are giving a vaccine. Now, what is a vaccine? We shall be studying it just after this. Now, vaccine, once he is vaccinated, so he is developing a resistance in his body in the form of antibodies. But in passive immunity, we see here, if we take it here, now in case of passive immunity, uh, let us go there. He is not being given any vaccine, but here this fellow is develops passive immunity, that is develops in a recipient who receives immune products like antibodies in a ready-made form. So he is getting these antibodies in a, important thing is here, ready-made form. So in this ready-made form, he is being given antibodies. So when pathogen attacks, he is safe. He will not fall sick because already he has got antibodies. But these antibodies are not secreted by or synthesized by his own system. Outside the system, that is, the antibodies were synthesized outside the the system, uh, and then subsequently they were administered on this fellow. Now, passive immunity can further be of two types. Number one, natural. This is natural, or it may be artificial also. So natural or artificial. Now, what is natural? Natural, this fellow is receiving antibodies in a natural manner. When we say natural manner, from system to system, from biosystem to biosystem. A very common example in this case is, we can say, from the antibodies we receive, a fetus receives from the mother through placenta. So this resistance comes from a fellow, in a child, from mother. So here we can write that in just one of the examples, the resistance that is transferred that is transferred from the mother to the fetus, mother to the fetus, of course through a placenta. During our previous discussion, we have discussed about Igs, immunoglobulins. Now, if you remember, the common example is IgG. IgG can cross placenta. So it can cross placenta. So now here we find that because it can cross placenta, so this is going to be, I'll just extend this line of differentiation. So it can cross placenta. The common example is, of course, IgG. Well, we have also studied that the colostrum has got IgA. IgG is one, and second is I'll just extend this line for your benefit. Then IgA. This IgA, immunoglobulin alpha, is present in colostrum. In colostrum. So what does it mean? It means that the antibodies from the mother are transferring or getting transferred to the fetus uh, through placenta. IgG is one, and second, when the mother is feeding the child, that time the colostrum, that very rich in chemicals, uh, IgA is transferred. So the two mechanisms, the two examples, IgG is when the child is in the womb, that time it is getting transferred, but by crossing placenta, and IgA is when mother is feeding the child. So in this colostrum we find a lot of these antibodies. That is why it is said that the mother's milk is the best diet for the child. It saves the child from many ailments because it is rich in all these natural antibodies. Then comes the second type, that is artificial. Now, artificial passive immunity. Now, this here we are this fellow, our same old person over here, will not fall sick. This man, this individual, he will not fall sick if he is given antibodies. But these antibodies are not coming in a natural manner. These antibodies basically are reaching to him as these antibodies have been developed uh, outside in some other person or maybe animals, and subsequently once they are extracted from there and then injected into this fellow or given to this person. So that is called artificial uh, passive immunity. So now it is the resistance in artificial resistance that develops in response to that develops in response to to the administration of hyperimmune sera, hyperimmune hyperimmune serum, that is plural is sera, of man or animals. It means that the antigen was introduced in some other organism, maybe animal, maybe human beings, man also, and subsequently the antibodies which developed, those were taken and then were introduced in this friend of ours, and this fellow will not now fall sick because he has got antibodies in his body. So these are two mechanisms which are rather important. Now just to take this discussion a little further, we have studied that in uh, this natural active immunity, here, this immunity develops by the body uh, getting infected. So the first response which the person is going to give once he falls sick, so he is going to give the first response. So the reaction of the body's immune system to the first attack of microbes. Microbes means antigens, and this is called the primary immune response. Is called primary immune response. Uh, so once the person recovers, let's say the person may be getting the same attack after some time. In that case, the body's immune system is going to react very fast, is going to respond in a very quick and more intense manner, and this response is called secondary immune response. Secondary immune response. So first attack, of course, the body responds to by forming antibodies called primary immune response. But the second time, if the same attack comes, then the response of the body is quicker and more intense, for a very simple reason, because the antibodies which were formed by the body in the first attack are there as memory cells, and they are going to respond to this second attack quickly. Now let's quickly go through what is vaccination and what is immunization. We are using these two terms very often: vaccination and immunization. So these two terms, let us quickly see this part. Now vaccination is the process of development of immunization against a particular disease by inoculation of harmless antigenic material like maybe attenuated pathogen or its toxide into a healthy person. So here we are inoculating harmless antigenic material. When we say harmless, it means it may be dead material or it may be in a very dilute, subdued form. So these attenuated pathogen or its toxide into a healthy person injected, So immunization develops due to formation of memory cells by the immune system. So immune system will develop memory cells because of the inoculation of attenuated pathogen or its toxoid, and this is what is called vaccination. Correction. Uh, I mean, the process is called vaccination, but the reaction which it develops is called immunization. Uh, Now, vaccination, when we say it is only, it refers only to the administration of any vaccine. We say that he's vaccinated. It means what? That the person is administered with a vaccine or any vaccine, matter of fact. But then, what is immunization? Immunization is a bigger process. Immunization is the process by which the body produces antibodies against the antigens of vaccine preventable diseases through administration of specific vaccine. We inject the specific vaccine, and this vaccine is going to produce antibodies against the antigens of which we have we have injected the vaccine, and this process is called immunization. So immunization is response to the material which is introduced in the body through vaccination. So bigger process. So vaccination and immunization. After this, now vaccines is a now what is vaccine? Let us define now vaccine, because we have reached a place where we have to go to all these intricacies. Vaccine. Let's slightly align here. Vaccine. It is a suspension of killed. Vaccine is suspension of two important things here are of killed. Number one, killed or attenuated attenuated pathogenic microorganisms or antigenic preparation made out of this, or antigenic preparation made out of it, which on administration, of course, provides immunity towards the pathogen, which on administration provides immunity towards pathogen. So now let us see various types of vaccines. Types of vaccines. Now, in broader sense, we call them generation vaccines. So there could be first generation vaccine, followed by maybe second generation, then maybe third generation. So first generation, second generation, and third generation vaccines we may find. So it is second generation, then the third generation. So we'll examine just one by one what is this first generation vaccine or second generation vaccine, or matter of fact the third generation vaccine. But before that, one small aspect which I want to bring to your notice is Immune response in general is of two types. When we talk of immune response in general, it is of two types. Now these two types, just I'll take a minute. I'll just change the new page. So here we are. Human response, correction, immune response is of two types. Number one, when we say immune response here, this immune response, I just bring it in the slightly in the center here. So two types, as I've told you. Number one, AMI, humoral immunity or antibody mediated immunity. Number one is humoral immunity, humoral immunity, or antibody mediated immunity, antibody mediated immunity, also called AMI. One. Second, of course, is called cell mediated or CMI, cell mediated immunity, also called CMI. Two types. Now, what is this humoral immunity or AMI, antibody mediated immunity? It consists of different types of antibodies that occur in the body fluids. In our body, the antibodies are there in lymph and blood plasma. The antibodies are formed by the plasma cells, which in turn are produced by B lymphocytes. As you are aware of, B lymphocytes in the bone marrow. Antibodies produced by a single antibody forming cell and directed against a single antigenic determinant are called monoclonal antibodies. So when we say when the antibodies are produced, so if they are formed from a single antibody cell, so this is called monoclonal antibodies. Stock is from one cell, that is monoclonal. And this clonal selection theory, according to this theory, we'll just quickly go through this part also. Clonal selection theory. Now, this clonal selection theory, it says, according to this theory, all the immunoglobulin molecules on a single B cell have the same antigenic specificity. So they are going to repulse the attack of a same antigen when it enters the body. So when the receptor interacts with the antigenic determinant specific to it, the lymphocyte is activated and divides to form a clone. So a clone is formed because of this reaction. So this is called clonal selection theory. Students, for the notes of all these what we are studying, you may refer to the website. On the same page you will get notes and at times other material like quiz and other things also. We come to the next type, that is cell mediated immunity. Now in this cell mediated immunity, CMI, it is the responsibility of cytotoxic T cells. Later it is specific to a target cell, as you know, that has been infected and kill the target cell. This prevents the completion of life cycle of the pathogen. The system operates against cancer cells like this, and transplant also activates B lymphocytes. So two types of immunities, humoral AMI and cell mediated immunity. I may refer to the later type, that is CMI, a little more in detail somewhere else. So then we are back to our the earlier discussion, which was on vaccines. So as I've told you, vaccines are of three generations: first generation vaccines, second generation vaccines, and third generation vaccines. Let us quickly go through this classification with some suitable examples. So type of vaccines. We know that the first generation, then second generation, and third generation. Now, the first generation vaccines, they are further of three types. Here we are, the first generation vaccine. They are here. So these vaccines are of three types, as you find on the screen also. Number one, attenuated live vaccines that killed or inactivated vaccines, and third type is toxoids. I'll just slightly enhance this somehow. Now it's okay. Right. So what is this attenuated live vaccine? So now these attenuated live vaccines with weakened, starved, aged or less virulent form of pathogens. So when the pathogens which are introduced, they are weak, maybe starved, aged or less virulent form of pathogens, then this vaccine is called attenuated live vaccine. So when this vaccine is introduced in the person's system, it is going to generate antibodies. Very common example of attenuated live vaccine we find in the case of uh, Jenner's smallpox vaccine. Smallpox vaccine of Jenner. I think there is some problem here. Uh, so number one, that is smallpox vaccine of Jenner. I just tried it again for your convenience. Smallpox. Then comes the second type, that is killed or inactivated vaccine. In this vaccine, pathogen is killed or inactivated by different methods, maybe by heat is one way. So here the killed or inactivated vaccine is going to be introduced. So this is the common example of this type of vaccine is we find in case of Salk's polio vaccine. This polio vaccine is basically here the vaccine. There's some spelling mistake here. Right. Vaccine. Pathogen is killed and then or made in or inactivated and then introduced. Third one is the toxoids. Now toxoids, this form, that is toxoids, third one, they are modified or detoxified toxins are used. When the modified or detoxified toxins are used as vaccines. A very common example here we find is, well, you come across this vaccine, very common, tetanus toxoid. Tetanus toxoid. Another one is the diphtheria also, of course, diphtheria. So these vaccines are basically modified or detoxified toxins only. So they are introduced. Then comes another type, that is second generation. So second generation vaccines. These vaccines, they are made of pure surface antigens of the pathogens only, which are multiplied through genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technique. This recombinant DNA technique we are going to study in our next chapter or maybe another couple of chapters. So here the pure surface antigens of the pathogens only are made, it's made from, and through artificial means like recombinant DNA technique, they are going to be produced in bulk. A very common example of this, firstly, this is made of pure surface antigens, pure surface antigens, right? Method used are genetic engineering methods like recombinant technique, recombinant DNA technique, very useful. In fact, this biotechnology has made brought in a lot of changes, I should say. Technique. The common example of this type of vaccine is, now this vaccine against hepatitis B. We have already studied various types of these types of hepatitis. So hepatitis B is one of the types. Now the antigen which is produced uh, subsequently the vaccine rather, which is produced from yeast, from the yeast cells. From yeast. So quickly I once again go through the second generation vaccines made of pure surface antigens of the pathogens only, and multiplied through various genetic engineering means. Example is hepatitis B, which is produced from yeast. Then comes third generation vaccines. Now this third generation vaccines, they are the purest one, purest with the highest potency, and of course synthetic in nature, because they are artificially produced, synthetic in nature. So these are three types of vaccines. Now the latest we find that the latest revolution in vaccines is DNA vaccines or recombinant vaccines. I have just told you in the discussion. The gene controlling the formation of immunogenic protein is isolated. So the gene which is responsible for the production of that protein, which is working as a immunogenic material, is isolated. Subsequently, it is cloned through various means in the lab, and then integrated with a vector for introduction into an individual to be immunized. We use a vector and introduce that particular sequence in its genome, and when this pathogen enters the body of an individual, it is going to produce antibodies, and subsequently the person gets immunized. So really very useful mechanism, but again this is again in detail in your course in the chapter biotechnology. Then another important thing which we have to discuss is the hypersensitivity. Also we sometimes call it allergies. Hypersensitivity, sensitivity, also called allergy. Now what is this allergy or hypersensitivity? Now hypersensitivity or allergy is the excessive immune response to common antigens. Antigens are introduced and the system is going to respond to these antigens. But at times what happens, when antigen enters the body, the body is going to give a response which is not normal response, but it is response in excessive, too much of a response, and this is what is called energy. And the antigen which enters the body in that case is called, the name has come from allergy only, is called allergen. So we say that allergen enters the body and body gives excessive immune response, and this is what is called hypersensitivity. The common examples of allergens are, we find mites in dust. You must have studied. They come in the group Arthropoda. Mites in dust. Few people are highly allergic to these uh, mites. I just take the page a little up for your convenience. Mites in dust. Then pollens. Especially few people are hypersensitive. Animal dander. And so on. Symptoms of allergic reactions include, now what are the reactions individual gives? He starts sneezing, then you may find watery eyes, lot of sort of water running. Then running nose may also one thing, running nose. So these are the reactions you can see from the allergen. Running nose. Well, in extreme cases, there may be some difficulty in breathing also. Difficulty in breathing. So these are the uh, now what is the mechanism of all this? How this hyper? We are interested now knowing the what is the mechanism of this uh, mechanism. I just take it. this